Okay, so we're living in what's supposed to be the most connected time in history, right? So, why does finding a real, genuine connection feel almost impossible sometimes? In this explainer, we're going to decode the new, unwritten rules for finding your people.
Does this question hit home for you? If it does, you are definitely not alone. It's the big paradox of our time, isn't it? We have endless scrolling, endless feeds, but at the end of the day, there's this deep sense of isolation. This isn't just a you thing, it's a collective experience for so many of us.
And here's the simple truth, the thing you really need to hear. It's not you, it's the playbook we were all given. The old rulebook for how to connect with people, it's just broken. Trying to follow it today is pretty much a recipe for burnout and frustration. It's time for a major update.
But here's where it gets really interesting. A new playbook, well, it's quietly emerging from all this chaos. And in this explainer, we are going to break down the 3 core strategies that are completely redefining what connection even looks like for strategists.
All right, first up, let's talk about the area that has probably seen the most dramatic overhaul: modern dating.
So the old way of dating, it was basically a casino, right? Dating apps turned the whole thing into a game, designed to keep you swiping, always chasing the next best thing. But the new way? It's a total rejection of that. People are embracing what's being called slow dating, actually taking their time to find real emotional compatibility, not just someone who looks good in a photo. It's a strategic shift from quantity to quality.
And this quote just captures that shift perfectly. See, it's no longer about winning some kind of numbers game. It's about having the courage to be intentional, to actually choose someone, instead of just endlessly browsing like you're on Amazon.
And the data totally backs this up. A recent study found that 45% of college-educated single women say they're single because they just can't find a partner who meets their expectations. Now, this isn't about being picky in some negative way. It's about being intentionally selective. People have more economic independence, more self-awareness, and they're just way less willing to settle. So if you've sensed this shift in the dating world, well, you're right on the money.
So what does this increased selectivity actually look like in practice? Well, the new red flags, the new deal breakers, they go way beyond superficial stuff. People are now looking for things like consistency, emotional intelligence, and real alignment on core values. Yeah, even things like politics. It's about filtering for a genuine partner, not just a fun Saturday night.
Okay, next up is playbook number 2, the social reboot. This one's all about how we find our tribe and, just as importantly, how we actually have fun.
You know, for decades, socializing has basically been synonymous with drinking. A night out meant a bar. But right now, there is a massive cultural shift underway. People, and especially Gen Z, are prioritizing wellness and authentic connection. And they're realizing that the best nights out aren't defined by what's in your cup.
And this whole shift has sparked a really fascinating new movement, a trend that's kind of hiding in plain sight. It's called soft clubbing, and I'm telling you, once you know what it is, you'll start seeing it everywhere.
And believe me, this isn't just some tiny niche thing. The numbers are absolutely staggering. Attendance at so-called coffee clubbing events is up 1,800%. Thermal gatherings, like communal saunas, they're up 900%. This is hard data proving there's a fundamental shift in how we choose to socialize.
So here's the crucial point. This whole movement is creating these structured, really practical ways to find your people. Here's a simple framework to understand it. You've got fitness groups that build bonds through shared achievement. You have creative groups fostering real emotional connection. You've even got these sensory wellness communities connecting through shared experiences like cold plunges and sauna rituals. There's a niche for everyone, which makes it a really safe and practical way to dive in. For strategists, for settlers.
And that brings us to our final playbook, which tackles one of the most complex, personal feelings of all, what it actually means to be home. The old model of home was like an anchor, one town, one place where you belonged. But in this age of mobility, whether you're a digital nomad or you just moved for a job, that whole concept is changing. The new skill, the new hack, is learning how to build a hub of community, intentionally creating that feeling of belonging wherever you happen to land.
We talk all the time about the culture shock of moving somewhere new, but what almost no one prepares you for is reverse culture shock, that jarring, sometimes really painful experience of trying to fit back in when you come home.
But this isn't just some vague feeling you have to stumble through. It's a predictable, psychological journey. There's even a model for it called the W curve, named for the emotional highs and lows. It starts with that honeymoon feeling of being back,
But then it dips down into frustration, that feeling of nobody gets it. And from there, it slowly moves toward reintegration and finally acceptance. Just knowing these stages exist can make a totally disorienting experience feel manageable and normal.
So how do you actually navigate it? Well, think of it like a toolkit. First, treat coming home like it's a brand new move, with the same intention you'd use for moving to a new country. Next, find your safe havens, those 1 or 2 people who really get it. Then, take time to focus on your new values. And finally, and this is a big one, just acknowledge that you are not the same person who left.
Okay, so whether you're building a hub in a new city, choosing a partner, or finding a sober community, you might have noticed a common thread running through all of these playbooks. There's one single principle that powers every single one of them.
And that master rule is intentionality. That's the secret sauce. It's what turns endless swiping into slow dating, default drinking into soft clubbing, and feeling lost into building a home hub completely on your own terms. It's the ultimate strategic advantage for building a meaningful life.
Ultimately, what we're talking about here is a much larger value shift that's happening across the board. People are starting to realize that a rich life isn't just about accumulating more stuff, but about accumulating rich experiences and deep human connections. It's about consciously designing a life that truly feels like your own. So yeah, these new playbooks, they offer a clear path to the authentic connection that I think we're all craving. But they also demand more from us, more vulnerability, more self-awareness, more actual work, which leads to the real question we have to ask ourselves. Are we truly prepared for the new challenges that come with building a life this intentionally?
If this touched your heart, please subscribe, like, and share it with your family. Save this for more meaningful content ahead.